Thank you, everybody. We're going to get started with our service tonight. Please look to your north. We have a procession of police and fire vehicles, public works vehicle, starting from the fire department and working their way into the complex. Sir, if you could please march the officers and firemen over, please.
Towards stage. Very good. Oh, I'm sorry. It's got a pen on there.
Detail. Turn, ready, rest.
I want to thank all of you for taking your time to be with us here tonight at Cameron Park. I'm Chief Doug Flynn of the Glendale Heights Police Department. I'll be serving as your moderator for this evening. To begin tonight's ceremony, please stand as DFW Post 2377, Glenside Fire Protection District, and Glendale Heights Police Department present our flags. Deonte Everett will be singing our national anthem, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Bloomingdale Fire Protection District Acting Chief Rich Kirka. Deonte?
Detail. On set. Hut. Freeze. Red. Hurt.
Oh, sing, can you sing by the dawn's early light? Was so proud what we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the rampart we watched, where so loud sleep streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Deonte.
Detail. Order. Hurt. Ceremonial. Parade. Rest.
Chief Kirka, if you could please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me.
Detail. On set. Hut.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief.
Ceremonial. Parade. Rest.
Police Department Chaplain Tim Perry will conduct the invocation.
There is a historical event in the Old Testament where a city, much like New York, came into utter destruction. It was a national catastrophe. It was attended by widespread death and destruction, as well as great pain and hardship. But God doesn't leave his people without hope in any situation. Soon the city was rebuilt, and a wall was built around it. God provided for his people in that small city known as Jerusalem. There is a psalm, Psalm 126, that we call the Victory Dance. Here are the words after the city was built, after the provision came back. When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dreamed. Our mouths were filled with laughter, our tongues with songs of joy. Then it was said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy. Tragedy has a beginning, middle, and end, and we are always part of the story. For those who lived during September 11th and beyond, there is a victory dance, and we must give it now. Let us bow our heads and close our eyes and pray. Lord, thank you for restoring our fortunes and rebuilding the landmark of our heart. You have promised us that those who sow tears will reap with the songs of joy. Those who go out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying fruit of their hard work with them. In your heavenly name, amen. This candle that you hold in your hand represents light. At one point, our lives were filled with darkness on that day, but we have recovered. And so now the lights must come on, for darkness will always be conquered by light. Light your candles.
Thank you, Chaplain Perry. Welcome and thank you for taking time out of your evening to participate in this remembrance. During the past 19 years, we have all felt the impact of the events of September 11, 2001 on our country, our lives, and the lives of our family and friends. Village President Linda Jackson has made it her duty to remind all of us as a community to remember and show our support for the victims and the heroes of September 11, 2001. We are all here tonight to remember and support those injured and lost 19 years ago. Mayor Jackson?
On behalf of the Glendale Heights Village Board, I would like to thank all of you for coming tonight to observe the 19th anniversary of Patriot Day. The plow leading our parade tonight was painted immediately after the tragedy of September 11th by two very talented public works employees, Spencer Young and Rocco Barbonetti, who on their own time wanted to memorialize the emotions they were feeling after the tragedy. One has passed, Spencer has passed, but Rocco has refurbished the plow after 19 years of wear and tear, so it can permanently be displayed as a reminder that Glendale Heights will never forget. 19 years ago, on September 10th, 2001, we all went to sleep, not knowing what would happen the very next morning, when 246 people boarded their flight, 2,606 people went to work, 343 firefighters were ready for the morning shift, 60 police officers were ready for their morning patrols, and 8 paramedics reported for work. None of them lived past 10 o'clock a.m. on September 11, 2001. 2,977 died. More than 6,000 others were injured. America changed that day. We all remember where we were on September 11, 2001, when we witnessed one of America's greatest tragedies. With all of the divisiveness we see today, we remember how we came together on September 11, 2001. We remember that those who died in the World Trade Center, at the Pentagon, and in the field in Pennsylvania were not thought of as black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Christian, Jewish, or Muslim. They were thought of as Americans. And our communities came together as Americans to support each other and to mourn the loss of so many Americans at the hands of terrorists who believe that the freedoms we have in America should not exist. In the aftermath of September 11th, we sacrificed some of our freedom in the name of security. Today also marks the 6-month anniversary of the nationwide announcement of the COVID-19 pandemic. Once again, we are asked to sacrifice some of our freedoms and ways of life for the security of our nation. In the past 6 months, millions of Americans have had their lives turned upside down. Restaurants, stores, libraries, schools, and even churches were closed. How different our lives in America have become. America is once again under attack, not from terrorists, but from a deadly virus. We need to come together once again, as we did 19 years ago, united to protect our country and our fellow Americans who were devastated by the terrorist attacks and now the effects of the pandemic. The police officers, firefighters, paramedics, and rescue workers who responded to the World Trade Center treated that day as they did any other day, racing into harm's way to save fellow Americans. These heroes showed amazing courage in the face of immeasurable odds and paid the ultimate price to preserve the lives of strangers. Each and every day, the men and women in uniform standing here today show that same type of courage and self-sacrifice to keep our community safe. As was displayed on the morning of August 24th, when 3 Glendale Heights police officers ran into a burning building on Water's Edge Drive and rescued a 6-year-old boy and other residents from the fire. We will never forget the death, the pain, and suffering since. We must continue to honor those who died in the terrorist attack on September 11, 2001, and support those that are still affected by these tragic events each and every day. We can honor these Americans by working together, regardless of our background, to make our community and nation better for our children than what we inherited. Please join with me in our village for all people with renewed empathy for our fellow Americans. Be compassionate, understanding, and caring. Help your neighbors and others in need. We are one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor. VFW Post 2377 will now place a wreath at the base of the flag to represent all victims of the September 11th attacks in Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., and New York.
Detail, attack, hut!
Members of the police and fire departments will then place the fire turnout gear and police equipment at the base of the flag to honor those police officers and firefighters whose lives were also lost.
Detail, freeze, and hurt! Detail, order, hurt!
There's a tradition in the fire service to honor first responders who have lost their lives in the line of duty. Tradition is known as the tolling of the bell. Deputy Chief Cassidy of the Glenside Fire Protection District will further explain the tradition, which will be followed by a tolling of the bell.
Ceremonial parade rest.
Thank you, Chief Flynn. An emergency responder's missions in life is serving others. For many, it is a long, rewarding, and fruitful mission. For some, it is a short mission that requires the ultimate sacrifice. Traditionally in the fire service, we use the ringing of the bell to signify our call to duty to serve others in their time of need. Additionally, we use the ringing of the bell to signify our return home, our mission is accomplished, and our duties are done. Let us now toll the bell once in dedication to all the firefighters, paramedics, police officers, whose mission it is to respond in times of need. Let us now toll the bell once in dedication to all the military personnel, whose mission it is to respond in times of need, both here and abroad. Throughout most of history, the life of a firefighter has been closely associated with the ringing of the bell. As a firefighter begins a tour of duty, it is the bell that starts it off. And so through the day and night, each alarm is sounded by a bell, which calls the firefighters to fight fires and place their lives in jeopardy for the good of their fellow human being. When the fire is out and the alarms come to an end, the bell rings 3 times with a pause, 3 times with a pause, and 3 more times, signaling the end of the call. Let us now toll the bell in a sequence of 3 rings in tribute and remembrance to all the firefighters, paramedics, police officers, and military personnel who fulfilled their life's mission and given the ultimate sacrifice. And in remembrance of the first responders, military personnel, and victims who lost their lives as a result of the September 11, 2001 attacks. We will never forget you.
Thank you, Chief Cassidy. Glenside Fire Protection District Chief Russ Wood now has some comments.
Thank you, Chief Flynn. We are in a new location and new ways of doing things with masks. We're in a new location, but with the same intent to celebrate, or not to celebrate, but to reflect on the 19th anniversary of the September 11th, 2001 tragedy. That day changed our world and shattered our lives and our families. As adults, we remember how our lives changed after the terrorist attacks in New York, Washington, D.C., and Pennsylvania. We reflect on the differences a year can make. Tonight, I think back to last year and how the ceremony has changed. And I think about how our lives have changed and how we go about our day-to-day activities and what is now considered routine, such as virtual meetings, social distancing, face masks, outdoor dining, and curbside pickup. I also think that a year ago, I may not have been able to define what social distancing was. 19 years seems like a long time, and we become complacent and weary of being on guard. Tonight is about remembrance and the importance of staying vigilant against threats to our country and our lives. We remember those that gave their lives in service to this country, and we honor and respect those that are soldiers, veterans, firefighters, and police officers. September 11th, 2001 cannot be forgotten, even during the crisis of a global pandemic. I'm going to read the current statistics for line of duty deaths regarding first responders as a way to reflect on how precious and uncertain life is for all of us. While it is difficult to determine the numbers for our military, we do hear about soldiers being injured and killed, and that is regularly. Our thoughts are with them and their families. As of today, there have been 190 police officers and 60 firefighters that have died in the line of duty in 2020. For the police, that's double of where they were at last year at this same time. Our youth are learning about what took place on September 11th, 2001 through accounts recorded in history, just as future generations are going to learn about COVID. Share with the youth the feelings that you experienced that fateful day 19 years ago, including the feelings of unity and of wanting to serve and to help others. Even though we are feeling grief and anger over the loss of life and the attacks on our country, we became more tolerant and patient with others. We took the time to say, "I'm sorry, please forgive me," or "thank you." That is as important now as it was then. 19 years ago, almost 3,000 people died. Most were civilians, and it was the worst day in firefighting history. And as the mayor said earlier, we lost 343 firefighters on that day alone. Those people did not know it would be their last day alive when they woke up and went to work that day. I ask you to remember those that died on September 11th, 2001, and those that continue to die as a result of the widespread health issues that develop as a result of being near ground zero. Those people died as a result of a terrorist attack, and we can't forget that. As I close, I ask that you continue to keep the survivors of September 11th in mind, and remember the first responders and military personnel who are ready to take action in times of need. Thank you for being here tonight, and it is my honor to introduce the Glendale Heights VFW Post Commander, Bill Wolf.
Thank you, Russ. Today, as we honor Patriot Day and the 2,977 Americans who tragically lost their lives 19 years ago, there's no denying that America has changed. Since that horrible day, we fought in 2 wars. The one in Iraq has ended, and the one in Afghanistan is winding down. Thousands of our nation's finest have paid the ultimate price fighting for our freedom, and thousands more have returned home bearing physical and mental scars of battle. And our country as a whole is certainly more vigilant when it comes to safety and security. When the terrorist attack was 19 years ago, their hopes was to weaken America and dampen her spirits. Instead, America united and proved that not only were we not defeated, but that we were stronger than ever. American rediscovers their devotion to our country and to the neighbors that day. We proudly stood as a nation and refused to succumb to fear and despair. It truly became one of our finest hours. Though there is no doubt this is a memorial of the innocent Americans who perished as a result of the attack on that great fearless day. We will remind that they will be forever etched in our minds, this horrible act of that day, which will remain just as enduring. In the wake of the ruthless attacks and utter chaos, the following our nation stood tall. We witnessed rescue personnel and ordinary citizens becoming true heroes that day, in some cases sacrificing their own lives to help complete strangers. And as the dust settled and America rallied her forces, a new generation of service members answered the call to duty. For 19 years now, the men and women who selfishly put their lives on the line to answer the call have helped to better protect us from such merciless attacks. They liberated the country from the clenches of tyranny. They've severely weakened a terrorist network. They've empowered just government and trained military so that they may successfully govern and defend themselves against evil extremists. But there's no question that America will face threats to our way of life, whether it's overseas or right here in America's soil. However, September 11th serves as the eternal reminder that we must act, ensure that our forces of ignorance and hatred never prevail, and they will never allow anyone to take our freedom. America will always stand united and proud in the face of the enemy. Before we leave today, let's take a moment to reflect on everything that's changed since September 11, 2001, and honor the victims and those who selfishly sacrificed by committing ourselves to our families, to our community, and to our country. That makes America great. That's what makes America a symbol of hope. That's the best way to honor the memory of those who lost their lives in that event of September 11th. In closing, I'd like to say, God bless you for being here tonight, and God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Mayor Jackson, final remarks.
Once again, I want to thank all of you for remembering those we lost on that tragic day and for honoring the men and women who serve in Glendale Heights, in the United States of America, and across the world. We will keep the events of September 11, 2001 in our minds, our memories, and in our hearts as we carry on each and every day. As a community and as a nation, we must continue to move forward by working together to keep our nation strong. We must continue to display the unity and patriotism that was reborn in the midst of the national tragedy. As you are leaving tonight, please take a moment to bump fists or tap elbows with a firefighter, police officers, serviceman or woman, and say a simple thank you. For these are those who put their lives on the line daily for us. Please also remember to thank the doctors, nurses, and medical aides that put their lives at risk fighting to save us from this terrible virus. Today and every day, I am very proud to be an American, and may God bless you, and may God bless the USA. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Bill, would you like to introduce the Honor Guard?
Honor Guard Commander,
Lieutenant, hut!
prepared for a rifle salute. Then, playing of Taft by Isabel Ducci, and the flags are returned to full mast while Taft is being played.
Detail, present, Hunt! Order! Hunt!
Thank you, Isabella. As we leave here tonight, not only thank the first responders that are here, other people that are in the community, working at grocery stores, working at Subway, working at other places where we're going every day to get our food and supplies. But thank your neighbors, and be good neighbors. And the more that we can thank our neighbors and have positive conversations with those in our community, the better Glendale Heights is going to be each and every day. And keep building towards a positive relationship with everyone in the community. And thank you. God bless you. Have a great night. And thank you for being here. And as we beat the rain that's coming in later tonight. Thank you.
Detail! Dismiss!
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.